The Boy Who Sold His Shadow. In a small village surrounded by green hills, there lived a poor boy named Arman. He was only 14 years old, but his dreams were bigger than the mountains near his home. Arman lived with his sick mother in a tiny mud house. His father had passed away years ago, leaving behind debts and struggles. Every morning before sunrise, Arman would walk to the market to sell vegetables. But no matter how hard he worked, it was never enough. One evening, after a long tiring day, Arman sat under an old banyan tree near the river. He looked at the sky and whispered, "If only I had money, I would make my mother happy." Suddenly, a strange voice answered, "Money? I can give you more money than you can imagine." Arman looked around nervously. A tall man dressed in black stood behind him. His eyes were sharp, and his smile was cold. "Who are you?" Arman asked. "Just a businessman," the man replied. "I make deals. And today, I want to make a deal with you." Arman's heart started beating fast. "What kind of deal?" The man stepped closer. "I will give you gold coins. Enough to live like a king. In return, I want something small." "What do you want?" Arman asked. The man pointed to the ground. "I want your shadow." Arman laughed nervously. "My shadow? That's silly." "It may seem silly," the man said, "but shadows are powerful. Agree, and you will never be poor again." Arman looked at his torn clothes. He thought about his mother coughing at night. He thought about the empty kitchen. "It's just a shadow," he whispered to himself. "Fine," he said. "I agree." The man smiled widely. He took out a small silver bottle and whispered strange words. Suddenly, Arman felt cold. He looked down, and his shadow was gone. In its place, the man held a dark mist inside the bottle. The man threw a heavy bag of gold coins at Arman's feet. "Pleasure doing business," he said before disappearing into thin air. Arman couldn't believe his eyes. He was rich. The next day, everything changed. Arman bought medicine for his mother. He bought new clothes. He repaired the house. People in the village were shocked. "How did you become rich?" they asked. "Hard work," Arman replied with a small smile. At first, life felt perfect. But soon, strange things began to happen. When Arman walked under the sun, people stared at the ground. "Where is your shadow?" they whispered. Children became afraid of him. Dogs barked when he passed by. And at night, Arman felt something worse, emptiness. Without his shadow, he felt incomplete. He felt like a part of him was missing. One evening, he visited his best friend, Seema. "Do you feel strange?" Seema asked carefully. "What do you mean?" "You look different." "Not outside, but inside." Arman forced a smile. "You're imagining things." But he knew Seema was right. As days passed, Arman became lonelier. People avoided him. They said he was cursed. Even his mother looked at him worriedly. "Son," she said softly, "wealth is good, but your eyes, they have lost their light." That night, Arman couldn't sleep. He went back to the banyan tree near the river. "I want my shadow back," he shouted. The wind grew strong. The black-clothed man appeared again. "You called me?" he asked calmly. "Yes." Arman cried. "Take your gold back. Return my shadow." The man laughed. "Deals cannot be reversed so easily. I will give you double." Arman begged. The man's eyes narrowed. "Your shadow is no longer just yours. It is feeding something powerful." "What do you mean?" The man smiled darkly. "Every shadow holds a person's kindness, honesty, and courage. Without it, a person slowly becomes hollow." Arman felt fear rising in his chest. "Please? I made a mistake." The man looked at him silently. "There is one way," he said finally. "What is it?" You must give away all your wealth, not for fame, not for praise, but from your heart. Only true sacrifice can call your shadow back. Arman hesitated. All the gold, gone? But then he remembered how lonely he felt. How people avoided him. How empty his heart was. The next morning, Arman made a decision. He sold his new clothes and expensive furniture. He distributed food to the poor. He paid the debts of struggling families. He helped repair the village school. People were confused. "Why are you giving everything away?" they asked. Arman simply replied, "Because I lost something more valuable." Within days, his gold was gone. He was poor again. But something felt different. That evening, as the sun began to set, Arman walked home slowly. And then he noticed something on the ground. A faint shape. He stopped walking. The shape stopped too. His shadow. It was back. Arman fell to his knees, tears filling his eyes. He felt warmth in his chest, real warmth. The black-clothed man appeared one last time. "You have learned," he said quietly. Arman stood up bravely. "Yes. Wealth without goodness is darkness." The man nodded once and disappeared forever. Years passed. Arman remained poor, but he was respected. He worked honestly. The villagers trusted him. One day, the village chief announced, "We need a new leader for our village. Someone honest. Someone who thinks about others before himself." The villagers gathered in the town square. Many names were suggested: wealthy traders, strong farmers, educated men from nearby towns. But slowly, one name began to rise above the rest. "Arman. He helped my family when we had nothing," said an old woman. "He repaired the school without asking for credit," said the teacher. "He gave away his wealth when he could have lived like a king," added Sama proudly. Arman was shocked. "Me," he whispered. "But I am just a poor vegetable seller." The village chief smiled kindly. "You are rich in something more valuable, character." The crowd agreed. Arman tried to refuse at first. "I have no money, no special education." The chief interrupted gently, "You have honesty. That is enough." And so, Arman became the youngest village leader in its history. But unlike others, he did not sit in a big chair giving orders. He worked alongside the villagers. He helped in the fields. He visited the sick. He listened more than he spoke. Under his guidance, the village slowly prospered. Crops improved because people worked together. Disputes decreased because Arman judged fairly. Children returned to school because he made education a priority. People trusted him because they knew he had once chosen goodness over gold. Years later, when Arman was older, a traveler passed through the village. The traveler wore black clothes and had sharp eyes. It was the same mysterious businessman. He stood quietly under the banyan tree where everything had begun. Arman approached him calmly. "You have come again," Arman said. The man smiled faintly. "I came to see what became of the boy who sold his shadow." Arman looked at the ground. His shadow stood firmly beside him. "I lost it once," Arman replied. "But I learned its value." The man nodded slowly. "Most people never do." "Will you tempt others as you tempted me?" Arman asked. The man's smile faded. "There will always be those who trade their values for wealth. But there will also be those who refuse." Arman looked around at his village, children laughing, farmers working together, his mother sitting peacefully in the sunlight. "I hope they refuse," he said firmly. The man disappeared without another word. From that day on, Arman told the children of the village a story, not about gold, not about magic, but about choices. He would say, "Never sell your shadow." And when the children asked what he meant, he would smile and answer, "Your shadow is your honesty, your kindness, your courage. If you lose that, no amount of money can buy